There are many yoga techniques that can be learned. In pursuing those techniques, one can be left with a bewildering sense of uncertainty about why all of the methods are being learned, aside from a general idea that the methods are for self-realization or enlightenment. To separate the differences between techniques and skills, you need to put it simply. There is a vast difference between a skill and the methods or techniques that were used to attain that skill. Think of the way an infant does many actions in those early months and years. The child may be playing with this or that toy, or exploring the new environment of this new world. Yet, all of the play and exploring leads to development of a few underlying skills, such as the motor skills of being able to hold an object in the hand, or to move the legs so as to go from here to there. In yoga science, techniques are tools to gain skills. All of the techniques are used to develop certain skills by which one can meditate at a depth that will reveal the center of consciousness, the self within. It is not so much a matter of the techniques themselves being important, but rather the techniques are tools to cultivate the underlying skill. What we really want is the skills, not merely the technique. There are 7 skills to cultivate for meditation. It is truly the skill that we want to learn, not merely techniques, although again the techniques are quite useful. The first one is body relaxation. Repetition is the key. By repeating the relaxation exercises over and over, the nature of relaxation itself is gradually known, experientially. However, the root skill to be learned is how to relax the body directly, immediately, at your own will and desire, whenever you want. Although the skill to relax at choice may have come from repeated practice of specific methods of relaxation. Second, you need to sit in a comfortable, steady, straight posture. There are several different meditation postures are offered in yoga. One may spend years developing and refining their meditation sitting posture, but the main goal of all of these postures, methods, and adjustments is the skill of sitting comfortably, steady, and straight. The easiest way to start with is the friendship pose, Maitri-asana, which is sitting straight in a chair, though even this requires some training to do well. Over the time, a skill itself is developed, whereby the aspirant is able to just sit down and be comfortable and steady and have the head, neck, and trunk aligned. While one may continue to do the preparatory practices, the skill is to go directly to a proper sitting posture. The third skill required you to make your breathing process serene. Remember, breath training starts with awareness and ends with awareness. In the beginning, one learns to observe the quality of breath, whether there are jerks, pauses, fast breathing, or shallow breathing. Then the breath is regulated so that the jerks and pauses are eliminated. The breath is slowed and becomes deep. Breathing practice are designed to be balance, energize, or calm the breath and underlying energy system. However, they are all directed towards having the skill to make the breath smooth, slow, and serene in a particular way that allows your balanced energy to bring you deeper into meditation. Eventually, one develops the direct skill of making the breathing process serene in a moment. After all of the techniques, the practice comes back to simple awareness that becomes so subtle that attention goes beyond the gross breath to the subtle energy and onto the mind. The ability to attend to breath in this way is a skill, not a method. Fourth, the way you witness objects traveling in the train of mind. Often students of meditation mistakenly trying to eliminate thought patterns from the mind, rather than learning to be a neutral witness of the objects of the mind field. This mistake usually comes from misunderstanding the process of quieting the mind. To quiet the mind does not mean suppression or repression of thoughts and emotion. Rather, it has to do with the skill of letting go, of allowing the thought patterns to flow without interruption, remaining focused not on the objects in the flow of the river of mind, but on the stream itself. By developing one single new skill that becomes a habit, that of simply letting the thought pass by when it arises, we become a witness to the whole stream of mental process. We can train ourselves in this new habit, though it takes effort. In other words, that old habit of attaching to rising thought patterns normally stirs us to move from our meditation, or leaves us in a fight with the mind. There are a variety of concentration methods used to train and focus the mind on gross, subtle, or subtler objects, while at the same time the root skill is to be able to simply witness the train of objects traveling in the mind without getting caught up in them. While we are learning specific methods, it is very useful to continually remember that the ability to witness objects in the train of mind is a root skill we are trying to cultivate. This stage you need to learn how to promote the thoughts that are helpful. This ability to promote the thoughts that are helpful requires developing the skill to direct willpower, or sankalpa shakti, so as to turn the positive thoughts into action. The skill of promoting helpful thoughts rides on the positive power of the ego, ahamkara, the training of the sensory motor mind, manas, and the wisdom of choice buddhi, while integrating these with the storehouse of the thought patterns, chitta. In other words, it means integrating the four functions of mind. What do we do with the negative thoughts, or the thoughts that are not useful to our growth and well-being? We simply do not engage them. We take an attitude of neither feeding into them nor trying to push them away. By focusing only on the helpful thoughts, the other ones gradually lose their intensity of coloring and become mere memories, without having an ability to control our thoughts, emotions, and action. The letting go and witnessing skill works with this discriminating skill so as to gently move us in the direction of growth and depth in our spiritual practices. This is the final stage, how to not allow yourself to be disturbed in any situation. This quality of not being disturbed does not mean being inert. Rather, this skill means having balance equanimity, which comes over time. This equanimity does not mean being emotionless. The difference is between having an emotional response arise and seeing that response stay with you for some extended period of time, versus having an emotional response that rather quickly fades away as you make any needed adjustments or changes. Eventually, one may develop the skill of not being disturbed in any situation such that there really is a continuous equanimity. But again, it comes gradually in stages. It is important to see how this skill grows over time, so as to not set ourselves up with expectations of immediately having complete balance and equanimity. This is a skill unto itself. One may be able to train themselves to be an actor and appear to be not disturbed, but with this skill, one can truly have calm without merely acting as if calm. It is called non-attachment, or vairagya. Although, remember, you must let these skills work together, which is the most important part. Letting these skills work together like fingers on a hand and bring one ever closer to meditation, samadhi, and self-realization.